Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this video. Time to dive into the book.
Hello, this is Jessica with On a Stack of Books, and today's video is a book haul, and it is a book haul from Little Free Libraries, thrifting, and I did order some books from Thrift Books. So 3 different places, got a nice stack of books. The first one is called The Children by Melissa Albert. This first stack I'm going to do is from Little Free Libraries. And this one, I just read that it was these 2 children that grew up in the woods of a Vermont farmhouse, and I stopped reading and I was like, yep, I'll take it. But these 2 children that grow up in this farmhouse, they sort of have 2 lives. The life that they actually live is sort of in poverty. Their mother pretty much neglects them. They are underfed, not washed, sort of wild and feral children. But she is a writer, the mother, and she writes about her 2 children, uses their names. It's Genevieve and Enos. Guinevere and Enos, and they are household names. She's a prolific writer, popular, and everybody loves these children's books about the adventures that they go on, and so they kind of, people perceive them not as they actually are. So then there is a fire, and the mother dies, and she doesn't finish a story that she's writing, and so the daughter becomes a ghostwriter to finish the story. The son goes off, sort of becomes estranged, but then he comes back and he's going to write his own thing called Mother, and things start to come up from their past, and it starts to become, what really did happen in the fire and things like that. So, it just sounds very twisty-turvy, interesting thriller, maybe a murder mystery, so I got this one. It sounded really good. And then this is Endurance by Alfred Lansing. And this is a book set in 1914 on a ship called Endurance. And it is a polar explorer, Ernest Shackleton. And he is on a voyage to Antarctica. And they start in August of 1914. By January of 1915, they're a day away from their destination. And the ship gets locked in ice, and it ends up floating and being at the mercy of this ice for 10 months. So, people die, and the skeleton crew that is left by the time those 10 months are over, the ship ends up getting sort of crushed between big chunks of ice, as it's floating around. And so they try to navigate by a dinghy, I think, or just a small lifeboat, over, some pretty treacherous waters, I think, and try to make it to some land, some civilization. And so it is the story of the incredible voyage. So that sounds very, dark and, mysterious and creepy. I think it's going to have that, I don't know, just being trapped in ice. This is going to be a story of survival. I think it's going to be fascinating and interesting. I have never heard of this author. I really like the cover though. I like that. So have that one. The next one is Brian's Winter by Gary Paulson. If you have not read the book Hatchet, then you're going to want to fast forward. I will timestamp this because I can't talk about this book without giving spoilers of Hatchet. And Hatchet is a fantastic book. I loved reading that with my daughter, but it is about survival. Brian, he goes on a 2-seater plane to go visit his dad for the summer. And I think they're flying over Maine, or I think they're going to Maine. And he has a hatchet on his belt. His mom gives it to him before he goes. And the pilot has a heart attack mid-flight, and Brian has to fly the plane. Of course, he's scared. He doesn't know how to fly a plane. He tries to mayday for help. He tries to do everything, and all he can think to do is fly it until it runs out of gas. And he finds a body of water, and he thinks, okay, if I crash it into water, I have a better chance of surviving. And so he does just that. And it's sort of this little islandy, like it's not an island, but it's this, bit of land around this body of water. And it's rough for him. I mean, he's beat up from the landing. And so I feel like it's a really good depiction of what it would be like. I mean, it's brutal. It's rough. And so it's his survival and what he does and everything that he goes through. Well, at the end of the book, he does get rescued. This book is if he didn't get rescued, what his winter would look like, because he ends up being there. I think it's like 3-6 months, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly. But so when I read the description on the back that this is sort of like, it's not really a sequel, it's if he didn't get survived, or if he didn't get rescued, what that would be like. So really excited to read this. And then the next one is Where the Red Fern Grows. I read this as a child. I don't really remember though. It's this boy and his 2 dogs. It's sort of like an adventure. And if I remember correctly, the ending is sad. I think one of the dogs. I don't know. I don't remember. And on the back, it's not really, it's just, him with his 2 dogs. I don't remember, but it's nostalgic, and I read it. And so I was like, okay, maybe we can reread this, but I have been on a nostalgic kick, and I have something at the end because I jumped down a rabbit hole, but okay. Moving on to the next book. This is City of Ashes. This is book 2 in this particular series. I have, let's see if we can turn just a little bit right there. So I have Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, City of Glass. When I picked this up, I couldn't remember which ones I had. So I just grabbed it hoping that this was part of one of these series, but of course it's not. There's like City of Bones, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince. They're all these different. So it's like a romantasy series. And so I've been wanting to read these. But I've just sort of been bits and pieces collecting. And again, I was hoping that this was part of ones that I already had. It's not, of course. So I got that one. Then, my children chastised me for this because I have 2 copies at home, but I couldn't resist, To Kill a Mockingbird. It's my favorite. But then just recently, my daughter just started 7th grade. She found out her ELA teacher's favorite book is To Kill a Mockingbird. And she was like, oh, my mom too. She loves that book. So she wants to read it now. So I now feel comfortable that I can give her one of my 3 copies to take to school with her because she wants to read during her downtime, and then at home. So see, it's good to have multiple copies. Classic. Okay. And then these are from my own personal little free library. I, obviously rotate stock the books and everything. This one I grabbed simply because somebody left a note. It says fun book, slow start, great finish. This is like a psychological thriller. It's a single mother raising a 16-year-old daughter. She's sort of not open about her past or the father and sort of isolates herself on purpose. And then something from her past comes back to kind of haunt her or whatever. So I think it's something to do with the father or something. I don't know. But simply because they put a little note in there, I picked it up. I'll read it and then I'll put it back. So I have that one, and that's Cross Her Heart by Sarah Pinborough. And then the last one for the Little Free Library haul, a neighbor, I don't know who because I didn't see her, but my husband was outside and she came up. She had a little grocery bag, like a little plastic bag with 4 books in it. And she wanted to put it up close to our door. We have like a table where I sort all the books. And, he's like, well, you could just put it in the library. And she's like, no, I want, your wife to be able to go through them first and see if there's anything she wants before she puts in the library. And I was like, that's so sweet and so thoughtful. So I went through and they were very good books. But one of those books in there was on my list of 50 before 50. But it was one that I did not have and I wanted and I was going to have to look for and get, and that is Wild. And so I was very excited to have this book in that 4 books that she gave. So I put the other 3 in the library. There was like a Kristen Hanna. There was something else. I think there was even an Anita Shreve, which I've just read one of hers. But, this is, a woman. She's about 26 years old. She lost her mother. She went through a divorce. She kind of felt like she had lost everything. And she just spur of the moment decides that she's going to go hike about 1,000 miles by herself. It's the Pacific Crest Trail from the Mojave Desert through California and Oregon to Washington State. So it's sort of her memoir of this travel, like a little bit leading up to, and then, her experience hiking. I guess she had no experience, or training or anything. She just decided to do this. So I really wanted to read it. So I was super excited for this. So that was my Little Free Library haul. Then I went thrifting and I picked up some books, and the first one is The Five, and this is The Untold Lives of the Women Killed by Jack the Ripper. I've seen several movies about Jack the Ripper. Mary Riley was my favorite with Julia Roberts. And I can't think of the guy's name that was, or no, Mary Riley was Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. No, I'm thinking of, oh my gosh, Johnny Depp, and he did, what was that movie called? Anyway, that was the story of Mary Riley. Or no, oh my gosh, wow. Not Mary Riley, of Jack the Ripper. I can't think of the name. I'll put it on here. But anyway, this looked really good, so I grabbed this one. And then I picked up Macbeth. It has a translation that anyone can understand. That's what it says. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. My daughter's read some Shakespeare in school, and I've wanted to read more plays, so I've got that. And then my last book, and then from my last review on the one historical romance that I read, they talked about Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. I'd never read it, but it just made me laugh because I saw it there and I had just read that book. This was the one that she recommended to the man that was courting her originally. So I got this one. And now my books from Thrift Books. And the first one is the next in that same historical romance by Lisa Kleypas. This is Scandal in Spring. So, they don't go in order, but they are clustered. There was 4 books in this one. So I'm going to read this. I love her stuff. Very fun. And I got Don Quixote. I think this is on my 50 before 50. I'm almost certain of it, but, Nicky at my messy bookshelf, she's talked about this a lot, and I've not heard anything but good reviews about this. So very excited to read this. I think it's over 1,000 pages. So maybe by like next summer, Big Book Summer. I don't think I've ever participated in Big Book Summer, unless I get to it before that. But so I got that. Thrift book stickers. And then Strange Pictures by Uketsu. And Nicky talked about this one, and then Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club, she talked about this one recently. And it piqued my interest when Nicky was talking about it because she said it was like really creepy in a different kind of way. And so I like that. I want to read some creepy Japanese mystery horror sensation. So yeah, I'm going to give it a try. I really don't know anything other than what I just said. Creepy, unsettling. But I did mention that I jumped down a rabbit hole of nostalgia, and I won't go into all of that, but I did make a purchase. It's not a book. But, and you can laugh at me because I don't know. Anybody out there collect? Well, let's start with this. Anybody out there from your childhood, you see a picture or you see something and you go, I used to have that. Whatever happened to that? And you just become hyper focused on like, what happened to that? And you just want it back. I don't know. There's something, maybe it's just me. I collected Garbage Pail Kids cards when I was a kid. It's not a huge part of my childhood. It was not a huge thing. Like I wasn't obsessed with them. We got them. They were not expensive. I think you could just pick them up anywhere. I think they were like 25 cents for a pack of 5. But I had a stack of them and I don't know what happened to them. And when I went down this rabbit hole of like 80s and 90s children's books, and I was looking at the weekly reader books and like all of these things from my childhood, and I have a lot still from my childhood. It got into other things. It got into more than just books and toys and collectibles and all this kind of stuff. And just the nostalgia was coming on strong. So I ordered a pack of these, and it's in its original packaging, and I can feel the piece of gum that's still in there. So, I will probably open it because I'm not like a collector. I don't leave things. My husband likes Hot Wheels, but he leaves them in the packaging, and I'm like, take them out. So, they're cute and you can roll them and maybe put them on the shelf or something. But so I probably will open it, but I haven't decided. But, does anybody else get like super focused on childhood toys, books, items, things that just bring you joy, happiness, the nostalgia of it, the memories of it? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So I just thought it would be funny because, again, it's not a book, but it's a purchase recently that kind of got put in there. So should I open them? Should I keep it like this? Because what am I going to do with the cards? I don't know. So that is my really good book haul for this last like week or so out at the libraries, thrifting, and then ordering. My order came in today, so I figured I would make my video. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I will be reading.